All right. I want to start this lesson by giving all glory, honor, and praise to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rekach Wadash. Double honor to the elders and the apostles and teachers and wise men of great millstone that I learned this truth from. The scriptures of truth, through the words of truth, through the spirit and power of Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai. Salutations out there to the elect. All right. I want to start this lesson in the book of Baruch, which is in the Apocrypha. The book of Baruch, chapter 3. Let's go to verse 8. And this applies to you so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans out there. You Israelites, you children of the Most High, Yahweh. You see, in the name of Yahweh Shai, the children of God. All right. This applies to you. Baruch 3 and 8. Behold, we are yet this day in our captivity. You see? Because when the transatlantic slave trade happened, you had Israelites sold and brought to the Americas. You see, in various places, you had Israelites scattered throughout the world, scattered throughout the four corners of the earth. Not just America, but Israelites were scattered throughout the earth in ancient times. Going back to the Neo-Babylonian Empire and the Medo-Persian Empire, the Greek Empire, and the Roman Empire. And right now we're in the revised Roman Empire. We're in the daughter of Babylon. We're in the spiritual Sodom and Egypt. But the curses caused us to be scattered throughout the four corners of the earth. Which means what? We're in captivity as it is this day. You see? Where thou hast scattered us, you see? The Lord scattered us due to what? Curses of Deuteronomy. You see, when we fell away from serving our power, we were scattered. It says, for a reproach and a curse, and to be subject to payments, according to all the iniquities of our fathers, which departed from the Lord our God. You see? So that's why we were scattered. That's why we are in captivity. We were in captivity and we are in captivity now. Because of all the iniquities of our fathers, which we are our fathers, you see, coming back into regeneration. You see, which what? Departed from the Lord, our God. And that's the point. Since we departed from our Lord, from the Lord, our power, you see, the curses are upon us. Which one of the curses is what? The Israelites going into captivity. All right. So let's from there, let's go to Lamentations. You see, and this is a part of the book of Jeremiah when the Babylonians came and took over Jerusalem. You see, during the Neo-Babylonian Empire, which caused the what? Israelites to be scattered, to be brought to Babylon. This is Lamentations 5. Let's start at verse 1. Remember, O Yahweh, what is come upon us. Consider and behold our reproach. Verse 2. Our inheritance is turned to strangers and our houses to aliens. You see? Because once the king of Babylon came and conquered Jerusalem, you see, it was conquered. He brought some Israelites to Babylon, and the other ones that stayed in the land, they were, they had taskmasters over them. You see, it says, verse 3, it says, we are orphans and fatherless. Our mothers are as the widows, because the Babylonians, they conquered Jerusalem and they did a lot of unaliving. You see. Verse 4, we have drunken our water for money, you see. Our wood is sold unto us, you see. Because when Jerusalem was conquered, that brought us to a low state, and we had to rely on the Babylonians which we're in the daughter of Babylon now. You see, we had to rely on them for water and wood and other things for our necessities. We had to buy it from them, because they took over the vast majority of it, which you have that now in the daughter of Babylon. we have to buy our water from these devils. You see? So let's give you an example of that. Salakia. You have to buy our water from these devils, you see, and our wood, food, you see. The one of all things, we have to go to our enemies for the one of all things, which goes back to what the curses of Deuteronomy also. All right, let's play this video, Salakia. All right, Salakia, bear with me. It says the price of water bottles is set to spike in the U.S., you see? Our water is sold for money. It was sold for money back then during the Babylonian Empire, and it's sold for money now.
Just about anything, especially energy costs, but one item is now being added to the list.
It is even sold now in the daughter of Babylon. Okay, let's continue the video, Salakia.
Bottled water, Laz.
Yeah, welcome to the law of unintended consequences. You already know that oil prices are going up, and you know that's giving a lot of pain at the gas pump, but did you know that it's also raising the cost of bottled water? And this is a big deal because 90% of American consumers drink bottled water. 20% of us drink bottled water exclusively. No tap water for that crowd. Well, a 20-ounce bottle of water typically averages about $1.50. So why is the price going up? Because oil derivatives are a key raw material in making most plastics. So when oil prices rise, the cost of plastic goes up as well. And oil is up more than 40% since the start of the war with Iran. And now oil is trading around $100 a barrel. A supply chain expert at Syracuse University told Newsweek that he expects to see the price of bottled water to rise by 5% this month, which would bring the average cost to about $1.60. If oil keeps rising, he's forecasting the price of the bottled water to go to $1.65 and then possibly $2 if oil reaches $200 a barrel, which most analysts say is probably not going to happen, but you never know, all things considered. Now, when we look a little more closely, insult to injury time, an economist at Radford University is saying that the cost of bottled water could rise even if the price of oil subsides a bit. Why? Because panicky consumers might start hoarding. And we know full well from the pandemic that once the consumer panic starts happening, it happens in a big way.
We hear some economists saying that it might take a year or longer for energy prices to stabilize, assuming that the Strait of Hormuz, that choke point for roughly 20% of the world's oil and natural gas that flows right past Iran, assuming that were to open tomorrow, that it could take a year or longer for these energy prices to stabilize, which of course then has a domino effect on all these other items like bottled water.
Sure, and even then, there are some unknowns. For example, Iran is already trying to signal that, yeah, it's willing to open the Strait of Hormuz, but maybe not for American ships. Also, Iran is also toying with the idea of exacting a toll on oil tankers that pass through the strait. So there's still a lot of wild cards here, but John is correct. Instability in the energy market historically is very difficult to tame. It takes quite some time for everything to settle back down and for a median price to reemerge. So at this point, oil looks set to stay high for a while, and all of the oil derivatives out there will also remain high. And this is just a reminder, as far as bottled water goes, that when oil prices go up, it affects wide swaths of the economy.
All right, and as you heard, the gas prices are just about going to stay where they are, which they're pretty high now, and they could get even higher. And it just goes into Bible prophecy, you see, because we're in the beginning stages of sorrows and great mournings, the beginning of famines and great death, the beginning of wars. You see, that's where we're in. You see, because it's Bible prophecy, you see, which all of those things which I just stated is going to lead to World War III, and also the mark of the beast, the RFID microchip. That's why technology is advancing. That's why cash is going to going to be, useless eventually, and they're going to administer digital currency. You see, so prophecy is being fulfilled. You see, they're going to collapse this economy soon. You see, but the point is made. You see, we are yet this day in our captivity. We're still under the curses. But when the Lord Yahushua comes, he's going to deliver us from these curses, from the hardship of this captivity. He's going to bring this empire down. And he's going to set up the kingdom of heaven, which shall never be destroyed. Like as stated in the book of Daniel. I think Daniel 7. All right, I'll end the lesson here. All praises to Yahweh Bahashim Yahushua Bahashim Rekak Wadash. Shalom.